Today we'll be making 6 meals with 3 types of different Spätzle. I will not show how the Spätzle are made in this video. I have another video on that, a very detailed one, and I will link it below in the description, and I will put an end screen on it too to click on. Let's get going. The most famous of all Spätzle dishes is Käsespätzle, cheese Spätzle. It's the gourmet version of what Americans call mac and cheese. This is served as a main meal, but also for some dishes as a side dish. What we need is the batter. I make them fresh today, right here, but I won't show you how this goes because of the other video. But you can also use them out of the refrigerator or frozen. And I will talk about this in a little bit, how to get this done. Or you can make this ahead and then stick it in the fridge and use it like that later on. What we need is the Spätzle, obvious, and cheese, a whole lot of cheese. Usually this is Emmental. I can't get a hold of it here, so I use Swiss. I'm sure a cheddar or other cheese would work too, but the Swiss kind of gets, it draws these long strings a little bit. And we'll also need onion. They're going to get fried up for the topping. That is important. You can't skip that. And a fireproof bowl, because if we don't eat it right away, I put it in the oven to heat it up later. So this complicated process for this sophisticated dish requires the Spätzle to be fished out of the water, drained really well, and then layered in the bowl and sprinkled with cheese. And then you just lasagna your way right up there. Be generous with the cheese, that's what makes the dish. And we add more. Now if you get these out of the refrigerator, you can warm them up in hot water, just like for a couple seconds, dump them in some boiling water and then take them out immediately. Or you can layer it with the cold ones in the bowl, and then you just have to keep them in the oven longer to warm up for a while until it's thoroughly heated through, and keep that on a low temperature. And if you take them out of the freezer, you get water boiling. You dump the frozen Spätzle in there until they come apart individual pieces and float to the top, and you're good to go there. And you can put this whole thing up and freeze the whole batch, or freeze it in a bag or container, then take it out, defrost it, and put it in the oven. Almost ready to be taken out, and the onions are coming along nicely. You want to use a generous amount of fat or oil, and then salt them right away really well, because we want to get the moisture out so they're not too soggy at the end. So this is the last layer of cheese, and then we'll top it off with another layer of Spätzle, and next come the onions, and then I'll show you what this looks like inside. The onions are done. Keep an eye on them when you fry them up, because they can go from caramelized to black and bitter in a hurry. Look how beautiful. Oh man, what else could you need? A noodle, cheese, and fried up. So now we'll dig in and see what it looks like with the cheese and all. So you want to serve this up with a nice spread of green lettuce. Endive is my favorite. And a mustard or lemon vinaigrette goes really well with it. Let's see how we get this out. Oh, see that? That's the cheesiness in it. Oh my goodness. And here we go. This is so, look, it's falling apart there. I swear it's so good. Oh, for kids too. I mean, goodness, leave the onions out if they don't like it. But this is heaven. All this pretty plating and stuff, I might as well come out of the closet and admit that I mix mine up with the salad, and that's how I enjoy it best. Now I'll show you how to make Krautspätzle. That's the perfect marriage of two southern German things. It's sauerkraut and it's Spätzle. What we need is sauerkraut. I make my own because it's better. It's also healthier because it has the probiotics. I have a video on that. I'll put that in the description below. And the Spätzle, they come out of the refrigerator, or you can use fresh made ones, or you can use frozen ones that you defrosted in the hot water. We'll need some onion, fresh ground black pepper, and then you want a meat in it. In my case, this will be a sausage, and I'll just pre-brown this. But it also goes well with anything smoked like ham or a pork chop. Okay, so these browned up a little bit. I'll let them sit on the other side still, and before they're done, I'll add the onions because we want to sweat them up too and caramelize them a little bit before we put the rest of the ingredients in. Okay, the onions are browning up just ever so slightly, and that's when we want to add the sauerkraut. That really isn't a recipe. Put it together any which way you like. If you like a lot of sauerkraut, use more. And this will sweat up, and I'll also add the Spatzle. And this is it. That's how quickly this goes. Once it's sufficiently heated through, add your pepper, maybe a little bit more salt, try it first. And you have a whole meal, a hearty meal, a great winter meal in no time. Now, if you don't cook it too long and you have raw sauerkraut, if you make it yourself, this will still have probiotics in it. So you're not losing out on all the goodness. And then you just plate it up. And we eat this as a actual dinner. It really, really tastes awesome. Try it. So of course the most obvious way to use this is as a noodle, the starch component in the meat. With the meat in the meal with a nice side, and then you pour your gravy. And that's delicious. This is venison, by the way. And that's how Spätzle are eaten. They soak up that gravy and they're going to be so good. Let's turn the green Spätzle with spinach into green, cheesy, mushroomy Spätzle. This is a whole meal, like a standalone meal, or you can turn it into a side dish. You can make this with button mushrooms. I was hoping I could go out yesterday. I did go out yesterday because it was raining one night and I could forage some mushrooms. There was nothing. It's way too dry. So I have a glass of canned chanterelles. We'll use those. We'll need pepper, salt, onions, a little bit of sour cream. You could use creme fraiche as well. Garlic, and then cheeses. I use Swiss and Parmesan. But you can use a combination of whatever cheeses you want or whatever single cheese is your favorite. This is just to get the cheesy flavor in, and the whole dish, I don't even have a recipe for it. You just throw it together, pop it in the oven, and you're good to go. So first we'll saute up the onions. When they're almost done, we'll add the garlic. They're starting to look good. Time to pop that garlic in. And then another couple minutes. And we're ready with this. If you make this with fresh mushrooms from the store, of course you wash and clean them and slice them thinly, or slice them however thin, and then you put them in before the onions are totally done and just saute them up. Don't put them raw in the dish to assemble. Now to the hard part. I'll add my noodles. This is gonna take too long here. You can add them warm or cold out of the fridge if you make them ahead of time. If you freeze them, like I said before, dump them in hot boiling water and then add them to the dish to get it finished. So I added the sauteed onions. Now I add my mushrooms, but if you sauteed them up, then obviously you already have them in the pan. But I leave some for the top. Now we add the Swiss cheese, or whatever cheese you like, and the sour cream. And of course I should have done this in the bigger bowl first because this is gonna be a mess mixing it up. I always found some bacon bits in the fridge, we add them too. If you have it vegetarian, then obviously just leave them out. All mixed, wasn't too messy because I got smart and transferred it in a bigger bowl. So I'm gonna pat this down a little bit. There we go. This already looks so good. Now I add pepper. I'm not adding any salt because my Spätzle are salted, the cheese is salty, and the mushrooms had salt in them too. If I need salt, I'll do it later on. And then I keep the Parmesan for the top. We'll sprinkle this. Oh man, this is gonna be nice. There we go. And then the rest of the mushrooms. So they look good on top. There's another one in there that won't come out. Here we go. And now I'll go put this, that was the dog that knows how to open the screen door by herself and then lets it bang like this. And now I'll put this in the oven for 400 degrees until it's warm inside and the cheese is melted. Every ingredient's already cooked, so you don't have to worry about, you know, poisoning yourself with undercooked food. Look there, hot and fresh out of the oven. Smells divine. Let's cut in and see what it looks like. See the mushrooms on top roasted up ever so slightly. Look at the cheese. Of course, if you have cheese that's cheddar or any other, it won't be as stringy. But the sour cream or creme fraiche in it make it really, really good. This is a great dinner because the mushrooms give it so much rich flavor. You're full. You have the vegetable, the carbs, and shrooms. Then another favorite with green Spätzle in the house is to, you fry them up in a little bit of butter. You add an onion if you desire. Add an egg. A sausage or other meat if you're so inclined to do so and you need it. Otherwise it's vegetarian. Some pepper. The sun is behind me, I'm making shadows. And you're good to go. This is a really, really quick meal, especially if you're in a hurry, you don't have time to cook. It's also very tasty. Leberspätzle in the pan. So you need a pan with some fat. And first thing, we just saute the onions nicely. They browned up nicely, and now goes in the main ingredients, the Leberspätzle. Then we'll have salt and pepper to taste, and we'll also put an egg over it. We'll just let them warm up a little, and then in goes the egg. Okay, the egg is next. And we'll just coat the noodles with the egg while it fries up. I need to turn my heat down, it's sticking. There we go. And we're almost ready to eat. Lunch in a snap. We're ready to serve up. These are so good. They have a very mild liver taste. Now, if you use beef liver, it's probably going to be a little more livery, but the chicken livers make it very mild. And that is a beautiful balanced lunch or dinner. A little chive for decoration. And someone is going to be very happy eating lunch now. And now, Leberspätzle soup. Leberspätzle Suppe. This is so super simple, I don't even know why I'm filming this, but it is a very known dish in the South. So you'll need some broth. This is a smoked chicken back broth I made the other day. It is very good, very, very rich. And then for looks and vitamins, I put in some vegetables, the tomatoes last, and then we'll put the noodles in and serve it up. So the veg are cooked through. Now I add the Leberspätzle. They just need to warm through. And then we can plate this up. It's a perfect time for the soup because it's cold today. That's why it's steaming so badly. And this is really so good and comforting. There. Some broth first, and then some noodles. I already, of course, tasted that for salt, but I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. I like it a little bit on the peppery side. It's going to make it so good. And of course, some chive for parsley for decoration and taste. There's actually taste. And then all I need is a spoon, a table, and a chair. Thanks for watching.